Welcome to Neptune's Pride. This short tutorial will help you get started on your first day. I won't go into too much detail, but the game is very simple and the best way to learn is by playing. It doesn't matter if you win or lose your first few games, as long as you enjoy yourself. The first thing you'll see when the game loads is a list of players who have already joined and the open positions that you can join. The object of the game is to capture half of all stars in the galaxy. Remember, the game is played very slowly over several weeks. You can log in throughout the day to upgrade your stars or send ships to capture more stars. The game is probably paused right now. Games only start when the last player joins and the game is full. You begin the game with 6 stars in your empire, and when you join, the map will center on your empire. Use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out and see the stars around you. Click and drag to pan around. Across the top of the screen is an icon for each player in the game. The silhouettes are open positions. You can invite your friends to fill these places. When you click on a player position, the map will center over their empire. Have a look at where you are in relation to the other players. You should have a think about who you might want to attack and who you'll be allies with. You can send a player an in-game message to see if they'd like to work with you. You could agree on who should get what stars between you, or perhaps plan to attack another player together. Let's zoom back into your empire and have a look at your stars. The number below a star's name is how many ships are there. To capture stars, you load ships into carriers and make hyperspace jumps from star to star. If a star is unoccupied, it will join your empire without a fight. But if there are enemy ships, a combat will take place. You start the game with one carrier on your home star. Let's tell it to jump to an unclaimed star to capture it. When you click on a star or carrier in the map, a selection menu pops up to help you choose between things that are stacked on top of each other. In the selection menu, we can see that both the carrier and the star have 10 ships. You can move ships between a star and a carrier by using the up and down arrows. Let's move the ship from the star to the carrier by clicking the down arrow, which brings up the ship transfer dialog. By default, your carrier will collect all available ships at a star. Now that there are 20 ships on the carrier, we'll give it a destination. The larger spiky ring shows how far your carriers can make hyperspace jumps. Every star you can jump to gets a small spiky ring. Later in the game, you can improve how far you can jump by researching hyperspace range technology. The ETA shows how long the jump will take. Once a carrier enters hyperspace, it cannot change directions or stop. It must complete the jump. Remember, the game has not started yet, but when it does, this is how long it will take. Like many games, it pays to expand quickly, so we'll want to build some more carriers at some of our other stars. Building a new carrier costs 25 credits, so we don't want to make too many. Just 2 or 3 might be a good idea for your first game. Now, let's send these new carriers to capture some more stars. If you have a look at the map again, you can see that each star has a different size white ring. This shows the concentration of natural resources at a star and is a good indicator of how valuable the star is. Stars with a large ring have lots of resources and are much cheaper to build on than those without any. You might also notice that some stars are bright white and some have a black center. The white stars are within your scanning range, so you can see how valuable they are and whether or not they have ships in orbit. Black stars are too far away and you can't see much information about them. Your scan range is measured from every star you control. The large faint dotted circle around your star shows how far they can scan. You can improve your scanning range by researching scanning technology. At the top of the screen, you can see how much money you have. You can spend this money building infrastructure on each of your stars. There are 3 kinds of infrastructure you can build. Economy, which simply provides you more money at the end of each day. Industry, which builds you more ships slowly throughout the day. and science, which helps you unlock new technologies faster. If you zoom into the map a little, you can see 3 numbers above a star. These are the economy, industry and science at the star. When you double click on a star, you are shown a window that you can use to build economy, industry or science. If you click around and have a look at each of your stars, you can see the price changes based on the concentration of natural resources at the star and how much infrastructure has already been built there. You might not want to spend all your money right away, but it doesn't hurt to build a few points of each type of infrastructure where they're cheap. Be careful buying science because it's the most expensive infrastructure. You should not need more than 1 or 2 science upgrades on your best stars in your first day. Keep in mind, if you save some money, you might be able to buy some upgrades on stars you capture later in the day. There's only one more thing you might want to think about when you first join a game, and that's what technology you'd like to research. There are 7 fields of research for you to choose from, but you can only develop one at a time. Weapons is always a safe choice at the start of a game, but you might like to try something different, and you can always trade technology with the other players later. Well, that's pretty much all you need to do on the first day. To find out what happens when enemy ships meet at a star, there's a tutorial for combat. Or if you want to know more about building infrastructure, there's one for that too. Many screens have a little question mark at the top that you can use to open a page of help about the screen. You can also read all about the game rules and find more tutorials on the help screen in the main menu. Feel free to explore the interface. The only thing you need to be careful about is buying upgrades on stars where it's really expensive. The most important thing to remember is that Neptune's Pride is a social game, and it's most fun when you're chatting with the other players and working together against your mutual enemies.